Good day. From this time, I want to describe about the problems of ecology and modern civilization. This is the first lecture of the discipline ecology and the fundamentals of life safety. In this lecture, we describe definition of ecology as a science, goals, objects, and methods of ecology, the relationship of ecology with other sciences, the role and place of ecology in the system of other sciences, and history of ecology science. The word ecology is derived from the Greek words oikos, or house, parking, home, and logos, science. In other words, ecology is the science of organisms in their own home. A science that pays special attention to the set or characteristics of the relationship between organisms and the environment. Many researchers today consider ecology to be a science that studies the relationship between living organisms and the environment, or the living conditions of living organisms and their relationship to the environment in which they live. Ernst Haeckel first used the term ecology in his world-famous work General Morphology of Organisms in 1866 and gave its scientific definition. At the end of the 20th century, the greening of science is underway. It is associated with a sense of the high role of environmental education, the understanding that human activities not only harm the environment but also change the state of human life, endangers and adversely affect human life. Associations, populations, organisms, organs, cells, genes are the basic levels of life organization. They are arranged in a hierarchical order from the subsystem to the top. At each level, functional systems emerge through contact with the physical environment, energy and matter, and organism is a living body derived from the fetus, which is characterized by their inherent properties. Then, the basic structure in the system of living organisms is called a species. As a system, you can understand the components that work together as a whole. Study the system of organizational levels and organisms on the basis of ecology is population and ecological. Living organisms and the system of organic bodies associated with their environment, energy, flow, and metabolism are called ecosystems. Natural conditions are a combination of objects, conditions, and factors of the natural environment. The main content of modern ecology is the study of interaction of organisms with each other and the environment at the population biocenosis level and the study of high-level biological macrosystems. The scope of ecological research is the study of biological macrosystems. It includes populations and biocenosis and their dynamics in time and space, as well as the scope of ecological research is the study of ecological state of the biosphere. The main tasks of ecology are the study of population dynamics, biocenosis, and ecosystems. The construction of biocenosis at the level of formation, accompanied by the development of the environment, allows the economy and full use of living resources. On the other hand, the main theoretical and practical task of ecology is based on revealing the laws of that process and learning to manage it in the conditions of industrialization and urbanization of our planet. The main methods of ecological research are field, experimental research, community research, and habitat analysis using ecosystem, population, evolutionary, and historical methods. In ecosystem pathways, the research ecologist focuses on the flow of energy and metabolism between the biotic and abiotic components of the ecosphere. The most interesting thing is to determine the functional relationship of living organisms to each other and to the environment, including nutrition. In the book Animal History, Aristotle described more than 500 species of animals and described their behavior. Thus began the first stage in the development of science, the accumulation of actual material, and the first experiment of the systematization. In the late Middle Ages, the beginnings of a new growth in science were the works of Albert the Great, or Albert von Boltzmann. In his work on plants, he drew attention to the importance of the habitat, in which he considered the causes of the hibernation of plants, and divided the important place other than the soil into solar heat, puts the reproduction and growth of plants in inseparable connection with their nutrition. Geographical innovations of the modernization period, the colonization of new countries stimulated the development of biological sciences. The collection and description of factual materials is the main feature of the natural science of the time. Nevertheless, metaphysical propositions were predominated in opinions about nature, and the work of naturalists contained the main evidence of ecological knowledges. They are based on the collection of statements about the diversity of living organisms, their distributions, the identifications of structural features of plants and animals living in different environments. The history of ecological science includes three phases. The first phase, that are from 1707 to 1924. In the works of same groups of living organisms in the 18th centuries, ecological data were mostly used in the 17th century. They made up most of the travels in Russia. Krashenikov, Lepechin, Pallas, and other Russian geographers and naturalists have shown the associated changes in climate, fauna, and flora in all parts of the country. In his capital work, Zoography, Pallas described in detail the survival of 151 species of mammals and 425 species of birds, as well as biological phenomena as a link between dormancy and genus species. 18th century problems of influence of external conditions of the second half Buffon was published in the works as a French naturalist. According to him, species can change to another species, and the main reason of the transition from one species to another is the influence of external factors such as temperature, climate, food quality, and pressure in the home. The development of concept of the development of nature is the main theoretical achievement of Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. In his philosophy of zoology in 1809, he gave an evolutionary explanation of the ladder of life. Lamarck saw the external situation as an important cause of changes in the adaptation of organisms, the evolution of animals and plants. Linnaeus, one of the out ecologists, linked the vital functions of various organisms with the environment and their distribution. Ecology is an independent science was formed around 19,000 years. Ecological direction in zoology Russian scientists formed by Ruhel. Ruhel developed a system of ecological research of animals, zoobiology, and in this sense left behind ecologically significant works on the typical features of the general features of aquatic, terrestrial, and vertebrate. The scientific works of Ruhel were published by his graduates Severtsov, Beketov, and they had a significant impact on the direction of research characteristics. In book Seasonal Scenes in the Life of Animals and Birds in the Voronezh province, Severtsov for the first time considered a comprehensive ecological study of the fauna of a separate regions. The first development of ecological science was based on the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin. He was one of the pioneers of legal ecology. In his book The Origin of Species in 1859, he argues that the struggle for survival leads to natural selection in nature and that it is the driving force behind evolution. It is known that the interaction of living organisms and the interaction with inorganic components of the environment struggle for survival is a large area of Uzbek research. Ecology, oriented in the field of biogeography, at the end of thanks to the teachings of Darwin, the science of adaptation of organisms became. However, the term ecology and Bentes were coined by the Austrian zoologist Haeckel in 1866 introduced. He gave the following explanation of the same science. It is the knowledge of economics of nature, which includes non-antagonistic and antagonistic relation of plants and animals in contact with each other. All the relationships with organic and inorganic components of life and the environment. Haeckel attributes ecology to the natural science and the biological science, which are of interest to all aspects of the life of biological organisms. The way of associations. It is the study of association studies plants, animals, and microorganisms that live in different units, such as a forest and meadows. Particular attention is paid to the definition and interruption of species, the study of factors limiting their distribution. The main aspect of such research is the question of scientific data on succession and climateric associations, which are very important for solutions for the efficient use of natural resources. Population space. It is the modern population studies use mathematical models of species, self-preservation and population decline. The construction of model is associated with the concept of births, deaths, and recovery. Population pathways, important for medicine and agriculture, provide a theoretical basis for the concept of pest and parasite reproduction. The next, habitat research. Special attention is paid to the analysis of habitat, which depends on the conventions of the study. It is widely used in the field research as habitats are easy to classify. It studies the biotic components of the ecosystem, the main environmental factors, edaphic, topographical, and climate, such as soil, water, mastery, temperature, light, wind. Habitat analysis is closely linked to ecosystem and community research. Evolutionary and historical affairs. It is important material for future changes can be obtained by studying the changes in ecosystems, communities, populations, and habitats over time. Evolutionary ecology considers the changes associated with the development of life on Earth allowing us to understand the basic laws of the ecosphere before human activity became an important environmental factor affecting many organisms and the physical environment. The evolutionary approaches allow the study of past ecosystems using paleontological data, analysis of dust, fossils, and etc., and modern ecosystem data. Ecology is a relatively old and well-developed biological science. The transfer of ecological thought to all branches of biological makes it doubtful that ecology should be considered a separated science. Areas of environmental research. They have several directions. There are out ecology, dam ecology, 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 geoecology, archaeology, applied ecology, world ecology, human ecology, no ecology, and others. There are three main areas of ecology. There are out ecology, ecology, and dam ecology. Out ecology is an ecological field which is the establishment of the boundaries of the extent of obligatory individuals, organisms. Dam ecology is a group of individuals belonging to the same species which conduct research in connection with the natural environment. Ecology is a science that studies the species of its population at a higher level of development of organic world. Ecology is the ecology of communities, bioethnology, phytoethnology, that studied the set of populations belonging to different species, for example, plants, animals, microorganisms as a single organism. Geoecology is the study of ecological worlds or at the biosphere level. Ecosystems on land and in the world's oceans, the relationships and connection in them, the structure, associations, the sustainability of ecosystem in terms of landscapes. Conduct scientific and theoretical research on changes in space and time, the productivity of ecosystems, agro and anthropogenic ecosystems, their practical significance. Applied ecology is an area that characterizes the task of ensuring environmental safety, forecasting and assessment of harmful effects on the environmental and environmental monitoring. According to Reims, applied ecology is the ecology that studied the connection in the system of human society nature. Theoretical ecology is a branch of ecology that studies the general laws of life. World ecology is a study of global ecological and biological changes and phenomena of the solar system within the biosphere which arise from natural and natural action. They study the nuclear threat to humanity, the threat, various disasters, global climate, anomalies, desertification, weapons of mass destruction, malignant epidemics. Human ecology is the study and regulation of the quantitative and qualitative structure of relations, quantitative and qualitative structure of rural-urban population, continuous education and upbringing in the field of ecology, environmental culture, ethics, moral education, environmental protection of mankind, and comprehensively consider ethno-ecological problems. Conducts research on ways to ensure the environmental safety of the peoples of the world. Man divides social ecology in the ecological system that includes social groups of society and their relation with the environment. It differs from the ecology of the individual and the ecology of the human population in terms of factual advisory level, equal to synecology, but characterized by the predominance of social organization of human society in relation to the environment, considers social ecology from elementary to the general human level. Social ecology is based on the methodological rules of human integration with the nature. Ecology is a field of interaction between nature and society in which consequences human activities are identified as a key factor in development. This lecture is over. Thank you for attention.